From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, Senate debates cash withdrawal limit, asks CBN to adjust policy. Presidential candidates sign commitment to carry marginalized groups along. Wife of just deceased mechanic narrates ordeal. And on the foreign scene, crisis hits Somalia. Ethiopia tops aid groups watch list for 2023. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. The Nigerian Senate has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to adjust its policy on cash withdrawal limit in response to the public outcry that greeted the announcement. The upper chamber, in its resolution, also asked its Committee on Banking and Finance to embark on aggressive oversight of the Apex Bank as it implements the policy. The report.
The Senate, at Wednesday's session, mandated the Apex Bank to adjust the policy after a heated debate on the matter.
The Central Bank latest action on Naira redesign and nationwide implementation of cashless policy are intended to further sustain this achievement in the quest to foster a safe, credible, and efficient payment system that is the pride of all Nigerians and the envy of the world.
Now, when you look at the conditions that CBN has put in their policy, to me it appears very punitive. How the money comes about, how the money is to be taken, and limitation on what people should do with their hard-earned money. I think even in the global best practice, it does not exist. We must find a way to remove that.
One lawmaker who believes it's about time the economy goes cashless is Senator Biodun Olujimi, representing Ekiti South, while her counterpart, Senator Ajibola of Osun South, noted that the policy may not be favorable for the electionary campaigns and mobilization.
In the report, there is a clause that says massive consultation will be held between now and the 9th of January. Mr. President, that's only 2 weeks. And there is this festive period in between. How can you have a massive consultation in those 2 weeks? The timing is wrong.
Above 100,000 per week, you pay processing fee of 5%. The question is looking at the inflation trend in our country and the average cost of living of survivor of every family in Nigeria, 100,000 per week, then POS withdrawal 20,000 daily is terribly, the threshold was going to impact.
Deputy Senate President Ovi Omageke thereafter ruled that the Senate Committee on Banking and Finance be mandated to give periodic reports to the Senate on the implementation of the policy in line with laid down rules by the Senate.
We also want to protect our people in the rural areas from being attacked, by bandits, being attacked by armed robbers who believe that there's a piggy bank in their homes. I think the moment it becomes clear to everyone that we've gone cashless, full-blown, and there's no monies being hoarded in anybody's house, I think there will be reductions in armed robbery and banditry attacks as well.
The policy, according to the CBN, will become effective on January 9, 2023.
Similarly, the coalition of northern groups have called on the government to call the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to review its new withdrawal policy, as it will cause untold hardship on Nigerians. Spokesperson of the group, Abdulaziz Suleiman, while addressing journalists in Abuja, said it is not the responsibility of the CBN to check issues of vote buying, but rather allow the federal government, the police, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to carry out their responsibilities.
Of inefficiency. Because if they cannot track the money outside the banking hall, it means they are inefficient. They should devise a way, they should track the money. In the first place, the ordinary man did not get the money out of the banking hall. If they cannot track them, it's their inefficiency. so they cannot visit that hardship on innocent citizens. So that one is unacceptable. It's just an afterthought. And the second one, where he said he would, the CBN will review and amend the limit, it's not by discretion. You see, he is speaking as if he owns Nigeria. He owns Nigerians and he owns the CBN. Nigerians are saying we don't want this policy, so it's not for him to amend or review at discretion. He has no discretion over this. Nigerians own Nigeria. We say we don't want it. So he's not the one to tell us when he wants to review or whether he will review or not. He has to review.
Moving to politics, as the 2023 general elections draw closer, marginalized groups such as persons living with disabilities, women and youths are seeking avenues that will make them enjoy intentional inclusion in the coming administration. To this end, they have outlined priorities to be signed and adopted by leading candidates so they could be held accountable when they take office. Noel Sampson has more.
Marginalization is the art of treating someone or something as if they are not important. The marginalization of certain groups within the community may lead to social unrest, as has been witnessed in some parts of the country.
The gay policy, having articulated areas requiring immediate, effective reinforcement, will serve as the vehicle through which mainstreamed inclusion of these three demographics become a reality at all levels of governance and indeed all spheres of life.
We have all worked in regards to make sure this agenda is inclusive, with the three organizations carrying out a very wide and extensive consultation from amongst every group in the country to seek their opinion about what counts to them or what is important for them.
Some of the leading candidates made known their plans for marginalized groups when they get to power.
We need to make sure it is documented, it is a law, and everybody will follow it through. That's what Bangladesh did, and it's working. So if you go to Bangladesh today, the Prime Minister is a woman. The head of parliament is a woman. Unless we invest in the youth, unless we put them out of poverty, we're not going anywhere.
And now we are looking forward to a leadership that is courageous from the day one to be able to curb and bury nepotism, so that fairer character will be reflective in how we deploy, how we employ, and how we give appointments. That is where we'll now curb in those persons with disabilities, mining areas of concern that will build trust, integrity, focus, oneness. Then we're going to have a better Nigerian for it.
One of the biggest challenge of these three major or minority group is the group themselves. Members of those groups will not support the members of the same group. We've had political party where a woman contested as president in primaries, and they had a woman leader, and the woman herself did not get a single vote. Does it mean that women are not there?
Governance is inclusive when it effectively serves and engages all people, takes into account gender and other facets of personal identity, and when institutions, policies, processes, and services are accessible, accountable, and responsive to all members of the society. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Noel Sampson, for that report. Moving on, the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Ahmed Bola Tinubu was in Minna, the Niger state capital, as part of campaigns for the 2023 presidential election. The presidential candidate, after endorsing the gubernatorial candidate of the APC in the state, Umar Mohammed, later commissioned his campaign office in Minna. Tinubu at the commissioning said the inauguration of the office is for the well-being of Nigerians and to the good health of the people. Tinubu was accompanied to the state by his running mate Kashim Shettima, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State, and governorship candidate in the state Umar Mohammed Bago, among others. Still in politics, Labour Party has announced the postponement of its presidential campaigns in Ekiti and Ondo states, earlier slated for 15th and 16th of December. The party, in a statement on its verified Twitter handle on Wednesday, while regretting the inconveniences caused by the postponement, said a new date will be announced. The postponement comes after a campaign by the party in Kogi State on Tuesday, where its presidential candidate Peter Obi promised to increase minimum wage and prioritize production over consumption. Students and youths from Bauchi State have vowed to vote only leaders that will make significant investment in the education sector in order to address the deplorable condition of the education system in Nigeria. The youths disclosed this at a gathering to create more awareness on the need to vote youth-friendly leaders in the 2023 general elections. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
For these students, it is time to lend their voices to issues affecting them, especially in the area of education. They are committed to electing credible candidates to address the challenges of the educational sector, since according to them, they are always at the receiving end of any badly implemented policy in the sector.
Without doing anything to the education sector in Nigeria, there's no way for the Nigeria to move or to develop as a nation. So with that, we screen and access all of the candidates, and we discover he is the only one with a concrete plan on education. So we come out to support him die-heartedly. We are not going back, and we are not going to compromise. We are not out for money. We are not out for appointment. We are not out for anything of material or monetary value.
For Bello Aminu, time has come for Nigerian youth to decide their future and be proud of their action.
We are talking about capacity, we are talking about competence, we are talking about economic empowerment. We are thinking of the youth, who has the youth at heart, who can emancipate our youth from where we are, who can bring us out of the menace we are now presently. So we have seen that in him, and those qualities were in him since when he was the Vice President of Nigeria. He has done a lot in that area.
They were, however, urged to be more focused and collect their permanent voter card to enable towards their talk. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The British government says it is committed to ensuring a free, fair and credible elections come 2023 in Nigeria. To this end, it is partnering with the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure the realization of a smooth election in the country. The political counsellor, British High Commission in Nigeria, Jonathan Bacon, disclosed this while speaking to journalists after the closed-door meeting with the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike. Bacon, who led other officials of the British Commission on the visit, described the meeting with Governor Wike as very productive. He noted that the British government is always monitoring the situation in Nigeria ahead of the 2023 elections.
A number of meetings, had a meeting just now with His Excellency, the Governor of River State. We discussed how we could further strengthen cooperation between the UK and Nigeria and the UK and River State. We also discussed the electoral period looking ahead to 2023. And I reiterated the British government's position that we are supporting the process. We are working very closely with INEC, and we're hoping for a free, fair and credible election in 2023. So we discussed that, and it was a very productive exchange.
Still talking politics, presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has boasted that neither the ruling All Progressives Congress nor the People's Democratic Party can defeat the NNPP in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Kwankwaso made this disclosure during his visit to Ado-Ekiti as part of his campaign tour in the southwest of the country to canvass for votes ahead of the February 2023 general polls. According to him, if elections were to take place today, the NNPP would completely root out APC and PDP and render their leaderships and presidential candidates jobless. According to him, he is different from all presidential candidates because he has first-hand information on how the masses live. Speaking at the palace of the Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, Oba Rufus Adeyemo Adejugbe Kwankwaso berated both parties over what he termed as bad leadership and economic woes, saying that the two major political parties have failed the nation. Justice Bolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court Abuja has set aside its November 29, 2022 order committing the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba to prison for contempt. In a ruling on Wednesday, Justice Olajuwon held that there was evidence before her court that the IGP has substantially complied with the court's earlier order directing the reinstatement of Patrick Okoli, who was compulsorily retired as a police officer. Justice Olajuwon held that in view of the development, the application by the IGP seeking the vacation of the committal order is worthy of sympathetic consideration. She set aside the earlier order in view of the substantial compliance with the order of the court and the assurance of ensuring full compliance of the applicant by reinstating him. Okoli was compulsorily retired in 1992 while serving in the Bauchi State Command as a Chief Superintendent of Police by the Police Council, now Police Service Commission, which claimed to have acted under Decree 17 of 1984, a decision the court voided in the October 2011 judgment. Moving on to security. Police operatives in Katsina State have killed two notorious bandits terrorizing residents of Dutsenma, Safana, Damusa, and Batsari axis. The terrorists who were on the police wanted list were said to have been killed when they attacked Sokoto Rima in Dutsenma Tuesday night. They are Abu Namasari and Abu Nairaki. According to a press statement issued by the spokesman of Katsina State Police Command, SP Gambo Isa, two AK-47 rifles were recovered from the bandits. Already, search parties have been dispatched by the police with a view to combing the nearby bushes to arrest other terrorists who escaped with gunshot wounds. On a sad note, wife of the mechanic who was killed by suspected indigenous people of Biafra, Fatima Munir, has explained how she received the news of her husband's death. Fatima, who spoke to Trust TV on Tuesday in Jos, said she received the news of her husband's death hours after she spoke with him in the early hours of Friday morning. Ado Musa reports.
Let Abdisalami was a truck mechanic in Imo State and was killed on Friday in Omunna town of Okige local government area of the state by suspected members of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, when he was trying to fix a faulty truck in the area. Abdisalami was an unfortunate victim who was savagely killed for not obeying the sit-at-home order that has been enforced in Imo and Enugu states. The deceased was buried on Sunday morning amid tears, with sympathizers condemning his killers, where they called for justice. The wife of the deceased, who was in total disbelief and visibly shaking, speaks.
In the afternoon of Friday, I just heard his elder brother, who is a neighbor, receiving a call. The call signaled that all was not well with my husband. Everyone around was crying. I asked them the reason behind the crying, and they told me that my husband was not feeling fine. But the nature of the crying was not a clear indication that my husband was no more.
Remembering good things about her mother husband, Fatima spoke fondly.
I will live to remember my husband forever. I missed a lot. Only God knows how much I have lost from his death. Whatever I requested from him, he would provide that within the limit of his capacity. I definitely lost an irreplaceable partner.
Family and friends said it is unfortunate how innocent citizens going about their businesses are being killed without anyone to be held responsible. They hope and pray for justice to prevail and call on authorities concerned not to fail them. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The children of the late Kudirat Abiola have dragged the Buhari administration to the ECOWAS Court of Justice in Abuja over the unlawful killing of their mother. Kafila Abiola, Moriam Abiola, and Hadi Abiola are suing for themselves and on behalf of the other children of Kudirat. In the suit filed on their behalf by their counsel, Femi Falana SAN, the children are challenging the violation of the fundamental human rights to life and dignity of human person of the late Mrs. Abiola. The plaintiffs are arguing that the failure or refusal of the defendant to protect the life of late Alhaja Kudirat Abiola in the Republic of Nigeria amounts to a violation of Articles 1, 4, 5, 18 and 23 of the African Charter. According to the plaintiffs, the combined effect of the said provisions of the African Charter and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that states will be held responsible if they fail to act with due diligence to prevent violations of the rights or actively involved act which amounts to violation of the plaintiff's right, as in this case, and for providing adequate compensation. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. The Upper Sharia Court in Gusau, Zamfara State, has released on bail former Minister of Information and Chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Ikra Bilbis, after 14 days in remand. Legal advisor of PDP in Zamfara State, Shehu Ajia, confirmed Bilbis's release to Trust TV via telephone. He said the former minister was released on bail with no condition attached. Ajia said the court adjourned the case to December 27 for hearing of the substantive suit. Operatives of the Zamfara Police Command had detained Bilbis on 28th of November 2022 in Gusau for alleged involvement in a security breach during a PDP rally that spanned from Bakura through Marafa, Maru, Bungudu, and ended in Gusau, the state capital. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Fuel scarcity bites harder in Kano. Motorists want government to address persistence. Do stay with us.
Jama'a ga wata muhimmiyar sanarwa, hukumar raya birnin tarayya Abuja da haɗin gwiwar dukkanin harɗawa shugabannin rigage na Fulani da ƙungiyar Miyatta Allah reshen birnin tarayya Abuja dukkaninsu suna bayyana damuwarsu akan yadda waɗansu mutane suke sakin shanu suna kiwo sakaka a birnin tarayya Abuja. Don haka hukumar raya birnin tarayya Abuja da ta kare muhalli ta birnin suna sanar da dukkanin al'umma tare da gargaɗi akan cewa an hana kiwo na shanu da sauran dabbobi da tsuntsaye a cikin birnin domin suna haddasa bata muhalli da kuma cunkoson ababen hawa a cikin wannan birni. Saboda haka duk wanda aka samu ya karya wannan doka zai fuskanci hukunci, kasancewar akwai gurin da hukumar raya birnin tarayya Abuja ta ware domin kiwo a cikin su. Don haka tabbatar ka bi doka ka kuma haɗa hannu da hukumar raya birnin tarayya Abuja domin tabbatar da tsaftar wannan birni. Wannan sako ne daga hukumar tsaftace muhalli ta birnin tarayya Abuja.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshinku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture mun zagaye ko.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our major stories. We told you that Senate debates cash withdrawal limits, asks CBN to adjust policy. You also heard that presidential candidates signed commitment to carry marginalized groups along. Moving to more news, the Senate on Wednesday confirmed the nomination of Aisha Ahmed and Edward Adamu for a second term as deputy governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The confirmation was sequel to the consideration of a report by the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, which screened the nominees. Ahmed and Adamu were first appointed as CBN deputy governors in charge of the Financial System Stability and Corporate Services Directorate, respectively, in March 2018. President Muhammadu Buhari renominated the duo last week and forwarded a request to the Red Chamber for confirmation. The chairman of the committee, Senator Obasani, while presenting the report, said the appointment of Ahmed and Adamu was in line with the CBN Act. Motorists have a cause to smile as the federal government has ordered the opening of the second Niger Bridge for use starting from midnight on Thursday. Minister of Works, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, stated this on Wednesday while inaugurating the bridge for use for 1 month during the Yuletide. Fashola, who took a walk around the bridge during the inspection, counseled road users plying the bridge to drive safely and responsibly in order not to defeat the purpose of the construction or constructing the project. The minister pointed out that the President, Muhammadu Buhari, ordered completion of the bridge to save lives and alleviate poverty occasioned by a waste of many hours resulting from gridlock on the old First Niger Bridge. He noted that the opening of the second Niger Bridge would alleviate the sufferings of the motoring public who always experience gridlock during the Yuletide.
So you will see the impact in the monetary and multidimensional part. But let us be clear, this is a temporary opening to achieve the purpose of relieving that pain and that inconvenience. And we would like your feedback if you get the opportunity to use it, so that we know how best to make it better for you.
Meta, owners of major social media platforms, Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram, have pledged to support the Nigerian government in tackling the negative impact of fake news, hate speech and disinformation ahead of next year's election. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this at a sideline of the ongoing scorecard series of the Buhari administration, which features the Ministry of Niger Delta. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
As Nigeria battles to safeguard the social media space from the menace of fake news, hate speech and disinformation, especially at the peak of electioneering, Information Minister Lai Mohammed says such collaboration by the social media giant is necessary to address the challenge.
Specifically, Meta detailed the actions it plans to take to combat disinformation and to make political advertising more transparent. The company committed to these actions before, during, and after the elections. This is commendable and is in line with what we have always said, that the platform owners have a big role to play.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Okon Umana, says the ministry has received from 2015 to date the sum of 178.5 billion naira, which according to him was judiciously utilized to improve the lives of the people in the 9 oil-producing states.
The ministry has completed 553 projects and programs between 2015 and 2022. Some other projects are ongoing at different completion stages in the 9 states of the Niger Delta region.
Though the minister could not readily provide figures of the fund recoveries made from the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari, He said such recoveries are being used to fund critical projects in the region.
That exercise had since been concluded. The reports submitted to government, reports have been reviewed. A committee is working on the white paper, which will be issued very soon. But even as that is going on, Mr. President had also directed that some aspects will not wait until the white paper is issued.
Nigeria's oil-rich Niger Delta region was central to the nation's economic development due to oil and gas production. It has, however, suffered development deficit and environmental challenges despite huge allocations from the central government. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the Financial Bill 2022 to support the smooth implementation of the 2023 budget and has a whistleblowing draft bill to restore momentum to the policy. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed announced the approval of the bills on Wednesday at the end of a hybrid meeting of the Cabinet presided over by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. The Cabinet has also approved the total sum of 9.24 billion naira for insurance cover for all government agencies, military and intelligence institutions for the period between 2022 and 2023. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The whistleblower policy was launched on December 21, 2016 by the Buhari administration as one of the tools to prosecute the anti-corruption crusade. The policy proposes a reward of between 2.5% and 5% of any recovered funds to any whistleblower who provides information about financial mismanagement or stolen funds. But it is no secret that fighting corruption through this strategy will be heavily dependent on effective protection of whistleblowers. And for this reason, the policy seems to have lost momentum.
People are concerned about their safety as a result of providing the information. So this bill is critical to ensure the effectiveness of the intention of the whistleblower policy.
The Minister of Finance has also obtained approval for the Finance Bill 2022, which is designed to support the implementation of the 2023 budget and will be implemented in 5 strategic areas.
Including tax equity reforms, climate change and green growth provisions, job creation and economic growth reforms, reforming tax incentives, as well as generating revenue and enhancing tax administration.
But how specifically does this work?
The purpose of the tax equity reforms is to combat tax evasion and aggressive tax planning practices that some companies operating in Nigeria are involved in, but also enabling the utilization of ICT tools and using international best practice to assess taxpayers' tax on a fair and reasonable basis.
The 9.24 billion naira insurance cover approved by the Cabinet on Wednesday will apply to all government agencies, military and intelligence institutions for the period between 2022 and 2023. The insurance will take effect from the date of payment. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
We'll now take a quick break. More stories after.
Fitsiano Islam of Nigeria cordially invites the general public to the fundraising ceremony for the construction of Sheikh Ibrahim Nias Orphanage Complex Skills Acquisition Center and National Congress on Thursday, 15 December 2022. Venue, National University Commission. Time, 10 a.m. Special guest of honor, Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chief launcher, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Chairman of the occasion, Senator Kashim Shettima. Royal Father of the Day, Sahad Abubakar III, Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi, and Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh. Sheikh Dr. Hamad Abdul Fatih, announcer.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Anti-drug operatives of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Katsina over the weekend intercepted drugs worth millions of naira. The NDLEA commander in Katsina, who gave the hint while parading some suspected drug peddlers, said the agency is intensifying patrols along or during the festive and political periods. Abdullahi Amadi completes the report.
The intercepted drugs include 45 kilograms of cannabis sativa sealed in about 50 parcels and 2.5 kilograms of tramadol. The drugs were intercepted in Katsina from Kano.
We've intensified our patrol activities, especially when you consider the holiday period that is coming. And you agree with me that this is one of the periods too that availability of drugs and drug consumption is always a bit on the high side. So we have to intensify our daily patrol, both morning and night. And incidentally, just yesterday, the 12th of this month, my men were on the road along Kano Katsina, that's by Welcome to Katsina. And in the presence of stopping a vehicle, intercepted this.
The anti-drugs agency is, however, warning commercial drivers to be wary and make serious checks on all luggages before transporting them to any destination. Similarly, the NDLEA operatives in Katsina have arrested one Salmanu Mamman with a large quantity of tablets suspected to be diazepam. I know I have not done the right thing. These parcels are mine. I disguised as an Islamic scholar and told the anti-drugs operatives that the parcels are copies of the Holy Quran in order to prevent them from checking my luggage. I regret all of this. The drugs belong to me, and I'm not denying my action. All I want is for the agency to help us out of this mess. I'm thinking of opting to another business entirely because this one is no longer safe and profitable. All the suspects confessed to have committed the offense and appealed to the agency to temper justice with mercy. Abdullahi Ismail Amadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Fuel scarcity is biting hard on motorists in Kano as the price reached as high as 310 naira per litre. Residents want government to find a lasting solution to the situation. This has come in at a time the House of Representatives gave NNPC and others a week to end the scarcity. Trust TV correspondent Idris Dibrin reports that most filling stations within the metropolis remain closed as people say the product is no longer affordable. His report.
For several weeks, motorists in Kano, like many other parts of the country, are suffering from fuel scarcity, resulting to long queues and price hike across many filling stations across the state. Some filling stations that are selling the fuel are selling it at about 320 naira, some up to 400. The situation is pathetic and people are suffering all over the states. Wherever you go, the queues is too long. And the only thing we can say is let's God help us, and the government needs to do something to control the situation, because obviously we cannot keep on going like this. But petrol stations selling at the official pump price of 184 naira per litre say they try to control the crowd. And in some cases, officials of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps are seen trying to monitor the situation. We open our station at about 7 a.m. in the morning, and we are selling the fuel at the official pump price of 184 naira per liter. And like you can see, we don't sell it to black marketers. It's only vehicles, and even the motorcycle that used to enter here, we used to properly check them to make sure that yes, they are who they say they are, and that's how we are selling it here.
The issue of scarcity, we thank God we are receiving plenty truck this time around. So even the queue now, there is no any plenty queue. If you come in the morning around 6 o'clock, by the grace of God, you don't go past 1 hour, 2 hours, you are taking fuel and go.
How much are you selling?
We are selling PMS as 184 naira as a government price. This is NNPC mega station.
According to motorists, 1 liter is now sold at over 300 naira in some filling station, while black marketers sold at over 400 naira per liter. At the moment, fuel price across the commercial city of Kano is increasing virtually on a daily basis, making life even more difficult to the ordinary citizens. Idris Juprin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Moving on, the Independent National Electoral Commission says 45 of its facilities have been attacked in different parts of the country in the build-up to the 2023 elections. INEC National Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, Festus Okoye, disclosed this at a one-day capacity building of journalists in the North Central on conflict-sensitive reporting and 2023 general elections in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Abdullahi Abubakar sent in this report as presented from our studio.
In his presentation at the one-day program aimed at building journalist capacity, the INEC National Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, Festus Okoye, said despite attacks on the Commission's facilities, preparations for the elections remain on course, and urged journalists to effectively report security challenges peculiar with different segments of the nation.
You must also understand the fact that there are security challenges of different colorations in different parts of the country. As at present, from the 3rd day of February 2019 up to the 23rd day of July 2022, the Commission recorded 45 attacks on its facilities in different parts of the country.
He assured that the Commission remains committed to ensuring that elections are conducted free, fair, credible, and in an atmosphere of peace. He charged journalists to play their roles in accordance with the ethics of their profession, as according to him, anything contrary might affect the process. Nasarawa President of NUJ, Chris Isiguzo, represented by the treasurer of the organization, Dele Adetumbi, said journalists will support the sustenance of democracy and its ethos through objective reportage.
For us as media practitioners, professionals, we see it as a cardinal objective to promote democracy and development. And therefore, we shall continue to work with INEC to ensure that democracy works properly in the country. The media, regarded as the fourth estate of the realm, are an essential factor in the process of democracy.
The NUJ National President also said the function of journalists cannot be performed without security guarantees, hence the need for authorities to ensure the provision of security for credible performance. The Nasarawa State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Othman Ajidagba, on his part, asked participating journalists to enlighten the public on the negative consequences of violence in the election process.
Politicians, you always want to win by all means. As you are busy here now, fashioning out ways of carrying out your duties to assist the nation, I can assure you that
some other people somewhere are also.
Journalists who participated at the event described it as important and timely.
Information is vital, but misinformation is destructive to human existence. For this reason, government and other stakeholders are told to give priority to the libraries in the country to curb misinformation, especially on social media. This was stated during Media and Information Literacy Program for librarians at the Education Resource Center in Abuja. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal has more.
It's always in what? In motion.
The emergence of new media has made fake news and misinformation big monsters that must be fought at all costs. The Youth Initiative for Sustainable Human Development in Africa said the move is imperative to check the inflow of information, to manage, change and also curb the menace of misinformation in social media by youths in the country. Moses Abgara said it is high time people disseminate information positively, calling on parents to encourage their children to make the use of library.
Our position is this: if we can ensure that the trusted sources of information, like the libraries, get quality and credible information, reliable information, accurate information, then it can be a channel through which youths can be reached with accurate and credible information, which they can equally share with their friends.
Library is one of the safest places for people to get accurate and qualitative information. And if the librarians are not well trained or skilled to be able to provide that, then we have a problem.
He added that communication chain, in line with any organization, depends on the principle of management, which helps to define, analyze, and get backup information to help the organization.
Information is also central to helping youth understand what the future holds for them, and it starts with them having that strategic as well as specific information or knowledge that can empower them.
Because technology is changing, we're changing from the way of doing things. So as technology is changing, we are moving our services to the online platform so that people can benefit from. Currently, we are working on our national repository so that Nigerians will have access to our information, because library is filled with so many informative materials.
The library has always been in the forefront of information literacy. So we gather, we keep, and disseminate the information to the public. So whenever you are talking about information, or you need to access information, or anything that has to do with information, I know the library is the first place you should contact.
Others said if libraries are equipped and made functional, cases of misinformation will be minimal. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
We'll now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news. Nigeria's import from Russia has crashed significantly, hitting its lowest this year as the war in Ukraine persists. The foreign trade report of the National Bureau of Statistics for the third quarter of 2022 shows that only 1.71 trillion naira worth of goods was imported from Russia in the quarter. This was a decline of 92.17% from the 21.84 billion naira imports recorded in the second quarter. Nigeria's two major imports from Russia over the years have been wheat and fish. This year, Nigeria has imported various types of fish from Russia. In quarter 1 2022, Nigeria imported 6.27 billion naira herrings and 2.77 billion naira blue whiting from Russia, while by quarter 2 2022, the country imported 13.39 billion naira blue whitings and 7.21 billion naira herrings, with 1.25 billion naira mold. By quarter 3 2022, Nigeria imported 1.19 billion naira jack and horse mackerel and 517.90 million naira sulfur. Nigeria is yet to import durum wheat from the country, unlike previous years. 2 million micro and small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, closed shop between the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic and last year, according to the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN. Its Director General,
Olawale Fasonya made this known at the National Conference on MSMEs in Lagos. He said as a result of this, the number of SMEs reduced from 41.5 million to 39.5 million. Despite the challenges, he noted that the 39 million MSMEs account for 46.3% of the GDP and 87.9% of total employment in Nigeria. And finally, in stocks, the Nigerian equity market on Wednesday bounced back from 0.09 decline on Tuesday as the all share index grew by 0.28% to settle at 48,988.04 points from the previous close of 48,853.54 points. Investors gained 73 billion naira as the market capitalization was up by 0.27% to close at 26.682 trillion naira. An aggregate of 88 million units of shares was traded in 2,832 deals valued at 1.67 billion naira. The market bread closed positive as 16 equities appreciated in their share prices against 12 equities that declined in their share prices. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for that report. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria is determined to achieve its vision of attaining 30 gigawatts of energy by the year 2030. The president spoke on Tuesday in Washington, D.C. during a discussion panel on energy transition at the ongoing U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. The Nigerian president outlined his administration's comprehensive energy transition plan in response to the issues associated with the climate change, which include the complete elimination of the use of petrol, diesel generators by 2060. As part of the National Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Policy, the administration is advocating a Vision 30-30-30, which aims at achieving 30 gigawatts of electricity at 2030 by renewable energy, contributing 30% of the energy mix. The president stressed that the Nigerian government had embarked on several reforms, one of the best in Africa, on mini-grid regulations as well as the integration of renewable energy into the national grid. Managing editor, Voice of America, Grace Alheri Abdu, has earlier spoken to us on why Africa matters to the U.S.
Africa is becoming a powerhouse for global trading and global economy. So countries, world powers, America, US, Biden administration inclusive, are trying to, if I may, get their, piece of the pie. Everybody is trying to get to Africa to make sure that they are not left behind. As you are aware, Africa is blessed with rich resources of various kinds, mineral resources, oil, and so on and so forth. So global economy, U.S. administration is trying to see that they are not left behind, because experts are saying that that's where the future is when it comes to economy. Yesterday, Nigeria, U.S. signed a memorandum of understanding between Nigeria, Rwanda, and Rwanda on space. NASA signed that agreement. This morning, U.S. signed another memorandum of understanding between the Republic of Benin and Niger on economy, on trading, on trade. So it all depends on what the session is all about and what the countries, stand to gain. So, but what they are saying is both countries have something in common that they are interested in. So each session, at the end of almost every session, they sign an agreement with a particular government, depending on what the need is.
On the foreign scene, Somalia and Ethiopia, both horns of African nations ravaged by drought and conflict, will be the countries will be the countries of highest concern in 2023, according to an annual watch list issued by the International Rescue Committee Aid Group on Wednesday. The report lists 20 countries, 11 of them in Africa, that it says are at greatest risk of new or worsening crisis next year and are home to 80% of all people facing severe food insecurity, despite accounting for just 13% of the global population. Top of the list for the first time is Somalia, where the combined effects of 2-year drought and Islamist insurgency and rising global food prices have caused catastrophic food shortages that are killing children and are set to worsen. In Ethiopia, where an estimated 20 million people do not have enough to eat, a ceasefire signed in November between the federal government and forces from the Tigray region after 2 years of war has raised hopes of improved humanitarian access. The other countries ranked in the top 10 on the IRC's 2023 watch list are Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Yemen, Syria, South Sudan, Burkina Faso, Haiti, and Ukraine. We'll now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports.
African Soccer Ruling Body CAF will use the video assistant referee VAR for all underage as well as inter-club competitions taking place in 2023. The football body on Tuesday announced that VAR will be present in the venues of the underage tournament, while it will be introduced to the inter-club competition from the quarterfinals. The under-20 competition will start on February 24 to the 16th of March 2023, while the under-17 will take place from 30th of April to 20th of May. The quarterfinals of inter-club competition will commence in April and run till June, while AFCON Under-23 is scheduled for 24th of June to 8th of July 2023. Nigeria's Golden Eaglets and Flying Eagles are among the teams that will take part in the 2023 African Cup of Nations AFCON in Algeria and Egypt, respectively. The Olympic Eagles are in the final round of the qualifier and will face Junior City Stars of Guinea, while Rivers United will participate in the group stage of the Confederations Cup. And still on football, Argentina captain Lionel Messi has confirmed that 2022 FIFA World Cup final on Sunday will be the last World Cup game of his career. The 35-year-old forward scored his 5th goal of Qatar 2022 and helped set up 2 others on Tuesday's 3-0 semi-final win over Croatia.
And in an update on the World Cup, France has defeated Morocco 2-0 to qualify for the finals taking place on Sunday, the 18th. And with that, we've come to the end of a news hour on Trust Television. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.